Welcome back to part 2 of the Florida plants that are easy to grow in Florida, and so I'm profiling them. Today we're going to, you can see the cassava in the background. That was last week. Today we're going to talk about another root crop that is very, very easy to grow here. You can buy it in really any grocery store. And the difference with this root crop is that if you do find it in your grocery store, you can actually cut it up into small pieces and actually plant it and get it to grow, because that's one of the ways that they propagate it. So we're talking about the yam, the true yam, which is not the same thing as a sweet potato. This is what I'm growing is called an ube yam, but you can find a lot of the ones I've seen in the grocery store are called yame yams, and they're very potato-like. Now this one is purple, like the root is actually purple, and if you I've heard, I haven't eaten any of it yet, just because the ones that I harvested last year were some of them were actually getting some rotten spots on them, so I just replanted them because I wouldn't have really had enough to eat. But these I've heard are a little bit sweeter. But if you get like the nyame or like anything, the dioscoria alata is the Latin name for it. They are more potato-like, and they're very good. Now they are high in oxalic acid, so if you have issues with kidney stones or just anything to do with that, any aversion to oxalic acid, it is probably best to limit your intake of these. You can see the purple along mine, because I'm guessing that's because it's a purple yam. But these are extremely easy to grow, and you can see right down there is where I have mine planted, and they grow almost like a mile a minute. They grow extremely fast. You can see that thing is going all the way up, climbing up into that tree right there. But yeah, they're very, very easy to grow. They take very little effort. They will produce a better root and a bigger root if you care for them. But even if you don't, it still produces well. This one's been in the ground. I think I dug it up, and this is another one that had just like rotting spots on it, so I just replanted it. And this is, I think it's second year coming up. But you can see all the different places that it's coming up, which probably means that it's at least that big, if not bigger. So this I have right underneath this cherry laurel tree, and it will climb. It will climb all the way up to the top. You can't really see it until it gets to be, or you can't really see how high it gets till it's about, starts to get into the fall, when the cherry laurel starts to drop its leaves. But you can see it's like wrapping around here, and I actually have another one that's popping up right there. But cut it into, if you buy one at the store, cut it into chunks, and then if possible, dip it in some ashes. That will keep the insects from trying to eat it underground, because you can plant it underground and then insects will come and eat it while it's underground. So yeah, so you just dip, especially the ends of the chunk that you cut that are not covered with the skin, that are the actual flesh is exposed. Make sure that has some ash on it, and then bury it, and it will come up. The longer you let it stay in the ground, the bigger it will get. I don't know if the ube yams get as big as just the regular like nyame or dioscoria alata species do, but they will get big. I think the ube yams are a little bit longer. I don't really know why sweet potatoes are sometimes called yams because they're not related at all. Sweet potatoes are a morning glory. But yeah, these are true yams, not sweet potatoes. And you have to cook them thoroughly to get out the excess oxalic acid. But like I said, there still is some oxalic acid in it. And, you know, if you have issues with that, just be careful. And let me go and see if I can get one up so you can see the root. Alright, so I dug some up that are over here. I didn't want to dig up any of those big ones yet. Sorry, there's a mosquito flying around me. But you can see these are small still. But this is more or less what they look like. Now these, as they get bigger, you can see the purple. But right now, you can't really tell. But there's actually 2 of them here. I could separate them out and plant each one. But yeah, this is what a small root would look like. And I'm actually gonna just put them back in the ground. And I mean, if they don't make it, they don't make it, but I'm gonna put them back. I don't know if I can get them. Let me see if I can get them untangled here. Oh yeah, I can. So I'm gonna move one of these vines. But if you have, you know, a root that you've prepared to plant, this is all you have to do. Now, like I said, this is a root, because you can see this root has skin all the way around it, so it will not get damaged by insects, really. But all you got to do, dig a spot, put the root in, cover it back up, and there you go. And let's go find a spot for this guy. These are very, oh, my hand's in the way, sorry. Very hardy plants. So all you got to do is give them something to climb on, and they will take off. So now my issue is I have another yam species out here called Dioscoria bulbifera, and it is that's the air potato that I've talked about before. It is not edible. It is toxic. So I'm not gonna, I wish it was edible, because we'd have yams all the time. Oh, there goes a black snake. We'd have yams all the time, but it is not edible. So, but let me, over here, you can see all this growing up right here. That's all bulbifera. That's air potato yam. But I'm just gonna, I had my vanilla orchid in here, and it got killed by the last cold, so it's not here anymore. I've got to buy some more. This is compacted soil right here. And of course there's all these roots in it that make it harder to, I'm not even filming it. There we go. I may have to get, bear with me 1 second. Okay, like magic, I have my trowel. So let me try to get in here a little bit better. This soil is just kind of tough right here for some reason. But yeah, you gotta give the yams something to climb on. As you can see, they're extremely vigorous climbers. And so that's what I'm gonna do with this tree. This is, I think, yeah, this is a rain tree, a golden rain tree. I hate these trees, but it's here, so I'm going to use it. And the yams don't mind it being shady. So just put it in the ground here. and it may find it whatever tree over here that it wants to. I don't really care. Cover it back up, and it should take off. Like I said, they're very hardy, they're very resilient. So yeah, that's the yam, and I highly recommend growing it. Especially, potatoes are not necessarily the easiest things to grow in Florida. There are varieties you can grow, but they're not necessarily the easiest. They do need a little more care and maintenance. But if you want something that's kind of a replacement for a potato, then get you some yam, some true yam, and plant it. And it will definitely be worth your while. The dioscoria alata, and I think the nyame, which I don't know what its Latin name is, they will make roots that, are like bigger around than your head. If you let them sit if you give them a few years, the roots just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've seen people pull up some yams that are enormous. So yeah, definitely worth your time, because it really doesn't take any time. I rarely ever water mine. I rarely ever do anything. I don't give them any fertilizer or anything, and they do just fine. But like I said, if you do give them fertilizer and water regularly and stuff, you'll get bigger roots faster. Yeah, that's it for the second installment. I will be back hopefully next week for another plant. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe. And yeah, hope we all have a good week.